you set the example of what it can look like to be in a profession, but it's just not about you, right? It's about elevating the women that are around you. And I think one thing in particular that I would love to hit on and kind of switch gears in this regard is when you look around the table, we see 4 incredible, beautiful Black women who have risen to places of influence and leadership. But, I don't want to negate the fact that, like you mentioned, it can be hard, like these roads to getting where you're at have not always been easy. And so how crucial has it genuinely been, like, for this support system, for you to support one another in the process? How crucial has that been?
You need a sounding board. This is a very difficult job. And I think the hardest part about it is that there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, right? Like, we can talk about things, but it might not work for my team, where it might work for one of the other teams or whatever it may be. But just having that sounding board when you're frustrated or when you can't figure out an answer or whatever it may be, I think is probably the most important thing. This profession is hard. Sarah talked about, finding people that you can trust. And we found that we can truly be there for each other and be competitors. We'll be at each other's houses the night before the game, and we'll be talking crap to each other too, like about whose team is going to win. But just knowing that I have these sisters who are going to be there with me through the thick and the thin, and just really support me in whatever it is that I'm doing. And like they said, like, we call each other, we talk in a group chat. So it's not just one-offs, like it's throwing this in the chat. What do you guys think? And before I took any job, I talked to these ladies like, what do you think? Tell me what you think, the good and the bad. So I'm just very grateful to have that kind of support system.
Kind of going off of that too, I think we all recognize how important it was to have people that helped us get to this point. And whether we experienced that fully or whether it was something that we experienced some of, we knew that when we were in that position, it wasn't going to change. We definitely were going to make sure that we continue to support each other. We definitely knew that we were going to continue to be there for each other in those times where we were assistants and kind of had to figure it out, on our own sometimes. So, just knowing that you can have somebody who, again, isn't going to judge you, right, for knowing or not knowing, because sometimes this business can be that way in terms of, there's something you generally want to know, but you don't really feel you can share that. And to know you have a space where you can share it and you're going to get honest feedback is something that's so vital. And it's not just, as an assistant is one thing, but as a head coach is a totally different level of pressure and wanting to get it right. And so, having not just one, but multiple, women that you pretty much grown up with to help you with that is huge.
Yeah. For me, I don't know what I'm doing. I do, but I don't. It's different when you sit one seat over and when you start thinking things through from the other perspective. Like they said, it's good to have someone to talk to. Again, there's a few other committee members that are missing, but we have a Zoom that we'll do, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about different ideas on whatever we need to talk about, staff dynamics, transition defense, fashion, what we're wearing on the sideline. I mean, it goes from left to right, and just being able to have a safe space, because they say it's lonely at the top. And it really is, because unless you're in the shoes, nobody really understands. And let me be the first to tell you, assistants that think you know everything and you think you know more than your head coach all of the time. It's different. It's different when you sit over and you just have to think about a lot of other variables that you don't have to worry about when you're an assistant coach. And so being able to have some folks to not only pour into, but for them to pour into you, as well as to be able to bounce different things and scenarios, with, and know that it stays between us. It's not, telephone where you tell one person and then they tell another person. It's definitely a safe space.
And I think the coolest thing for me with us is we have all entered this phase of our life at the same time. And so watching our mentors and people before us, the older coaches that we kind of were mentored by, they hit this phase at different times. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've ever, I've been coaching college for 10 years now. I don't think I've ever seen a group of friends all get jobs at the same time. And this has happened for us in the span of, 24 months, that we all have gotten head coaching jobs after being assistants, long-term assistants, and we all have walked into head coaching jobs within the same 2-year period. To me, that is unbelievably unique. And it's more of us. So like in our group, it's not, no, we have mentors and we have people that pour into us who have been head coaches for 10, 15, 20 years. But our group is a group of us who have been friends, and we all have become head coaches in the last 2 years. That to me is insane. I've never seen that before. And so it's kind of cool, because to me, it kind of attests to the favor of God and his plan and his purpose on our lives, and then joining us together as friends through our journey, and then having us cross over into another phase at the same time. I've never seen that happen before. And the stupidest part about it is we're all in the same daggone conference. That part is crazy. We're in the same conference.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's a little bit.